Well, I got my Prince Albert in. I don't know about you. Stupid.
No, don't. He's got Prince Albert in the can.
Prove it. Hey, everybody, welcome to No Comic Required. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
We're back, baby. It's been a little while. I think.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we missed a week.
We did. Sorry. I know. That's like the death knell of a podcast is like, well, we took a week off.
Maybe
but
2 at this point. I don't even know.
It's bad. It's a bi-weekly show. We missed 2 weeks. That means we've missed an entire,
It's over.
No, I think the last time we recorded... Wait, what year is it?
It's 2036.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been a while.
Yep. Today we're going to be talking about weapons, shared universes, and Superman. But before we do, of course, I want to mention that this show is sponsored mostly by people who join us on patreon.com/ComicPop, and you, those folks at home who are watching the show. But if you are on patreon.com/ComicPop, you can ask us a question and we'll read it here on the show. I have quite a few. There are a couple of really, really insightful ones, but I'm going to go with Bat Vader, who asked, what's your favorite preparation of a potato?
Favorite?
Yeah. What in your estimation, your favorite preparation of a
Just
potato?
from.
I know. What an excellent question.
There's a lot of good ones out there. Of the ones I've had, because there are plenty of potatoes I have not had.
Yes.
French fries.
Yeah. Fries, it's hard to beat fries.
It's really hard.
Now, while you figure out which form of fries, Ethan, I'm going to go to you for your
So, fries is like up there. That was my first initial thought.
Yeah.
But then I started to think like, well, what about croquettes? Right, because those are pretty dope. Although I just Googled it, and I guess they don't always have to have potatoes, but I guess the kind that's made with potatoes.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to beat mashed. I do love a good mashed potato.
You actually have to beat mashed.
Well, you do. Well, no, you have to mash them. You don't necessarily have to beat them.
It's very different for beating, yeah.
Yes. But I'm going to go rogue here. Scalloped is one of my favorite potatoes.
Really?
And I never get them. No one ever makes them. And whenever I do see them, I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. It's like whenever I'm at a buffet and someone has smoked salmon, I'm like, someone ate all the smoked salmon. And it was this bear right here.
I don't know who it could have been.
Oh no, someone ate all the smoked salmon again. This happens every time I go to one of these things. It's crazy.
So, what's your backup?
My backup?
Yeah, scalloped is a terrible answer. The second one. That one sucks.
No. Everyone has a second favorite potato. Mine's baked.
Right. Baked, I've always felt that baked is kind of like the lazy man's potato. It's like, I threw a potato in the oven,
you put enough shit on it.
I filled it with things. It's like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with fries. What am I going to do?
What toppings?
My fries? I better put salt and pepper on those.
You got to
suckers.
specify what's going on the mashed potato to make it the best. Because I'm saying a plain mashed potato is actually like one of the worst. So you gotta load it up. What are you putting on?
You gotta shush it.
For mashed potatoes, for me, it's just you got
mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes is fine. There's nothing wrong with your answer.
Yeah, that's my mashed potato. That's my backup. Oh yeah, for your baked potato.
Baked potato. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you fill in that thing with?
You got to have some nice salt on the outside.
Agreed.
Salted skin. Yeah, big time. No question.
Personally, I like it easy. I like a little butter and some cheese inside. I could do some bacon bits. I can do a little bit of sour cream. Chives aren't bad. But top it with chili. Oh, now you're talking.
Okay, now you're talking. Okay, now you got me. Because I'm like, all those things, I'm like, yeah, those are fine. But that doesn't take it like above like French fries or not even above scalloped potatoes. For Christ's sakes. But once you get to the chili,
let's say chili.
Yeah, but chili, well, that's true. Yeah. Well, Ethan used to be a chili connoisseur. That was like a whole thing. Every establishment we used to go to, Ethan would ask us, "Have you had the chili here? Is it any good?
Chili good?"
Yeah, and it's like invariably no. But we're not here to talk about chili.
Very rarely. Yeah,
we'll have to save that. We got to put a pin in.
Is it better than Wendy's chili? Right, because Wendy's chili is like pretty good. So if
it's a fast food joint, their chili is great, but nothing beats homemade chili.
It's consistent. Like Wendy's chili, you know what you're getting into. You're never going to be like, oh, it was bad this week. Nope, it's this.
Yeah,
it's a 2, but it's a solid 2 every time. You come home to a 2.
6. I'd give Wendy's chili. I think it's among the better chilies I've had at any like restaurant.
Wow. I've had a lot of chili in my time, and I can tell you that I've had some chilies that have knocked my socks off. But I did go to school in the South, so I've had quite a bit of different varieties
Yeah,
of
it's
chili.
a stack deck there.
Yeah,
Have you made
and
your own?
I have made my own. Of course. Oh
Me
yeah.
too.
No, my wife made me some, and actually, if you go on YouTube.com/ComicPop, you can find if you go through the archives, you can find an old video of Tiffany making Ollie Queen Green Arrow's officially sanctioned chili. Maybe some of the best chili I've ever had in my life.
That was
That was
delicious.
good chili.
Solid. We've
I
made it
would
2
love
more
that on a
times since
baked
then.
potato. I would
Oh
love
my
that on
god.
French fries.
I'd take it on anything, baby.
Oh, chili fries. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, now we're talking. But we're not here to talk about potatoes or chili. I've heard this question before, and I asked it of myself recently, and I was like, that's so inane. The shared movie universe, the concept overall of the shared movie universe, which people think is a relatively new concept, which it absolutely isn't. After the MCU has risen, fallen, stumbled, re-risen, who could say? I don't care. The fact that DC tried, failed, could have done it 30, 40 years ago, never attempted it, then got lots of flowers for their overtly interconnected universes with the Crisis on Infinite Earths TV event from the Arrowverse. People are asking now, and I've heard this question posed enough times for me to say that it's a thing people have an opinion about, but are people done with the shared movie universe? Is that even a question worth regarding?
I guess it's interesting to talk about as it regards to like this moment in time, like how popular of a concept is it? Or
Yeah,
do you get immediate backlash from it because people are tired of it?
right. Like, oh,
But
the Universal Dark universe where it was
yeah,
like, oh, the Mummy and Frankenstein,
yeah.
some kind of
I think
vampire.
my take on this is like it will never go away because to your point, it wasn't new in the first place. It's always been a thing. So
Yeah.
like maybe
Studios have
now
had ownership of things.
yeah, so maybe, like, the sheen on it that you
Yeah,
kinda got after the MCU might have dulled a bit as you come crashing back to Earth and realize it doesn't always work,
right.
but it'll come back around,
Yeah.
and it's never going away completely, right, till the MCU dies,
Well, but
and Fast
even
and Furious, and, like, all the other
well, and but those Fast and Furious outside of Hobbs and Shaw, I
Mhm.
feel like that those are just sequels. Those are just movies in a
Yeah,
franchise.
the MCU is just a bunch of sequels.
Right, but to their own movies, but they also have crossover within their own
Yeah,
franchises.
but Fast and Furious 3 was not a direct sequel to 1 and 2, it was completely different, new characters, it was over there, it had no
Yeah,
relation to the prior 2, they just put a 3 in behind it.
but it was still
It
called
just
3.
but
True.
ties in later.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they do,
And then
I
they
guess it is a
brought in those
sprawling
characters
universe.
later on, and they made it more of a shared universe because
That's fair.
they were kinda going the direction of like, well, this is just a name that we slap on these things. It's like it's spiritually Fast and Furious, but it's like an anthology, right?
Yeah.
That failed. So then they went
Yeah,
back to
did Hobbs and Shaw even have a Fast and Furious title in front of it, or was it just Hobbs and Shaw?
I believe it like it's like a Hobbs and Shaw, a Fast and Furious joint or something like that. I don't remember.
'Cause I wanna
The
say
Hobbs
Hobbs and Shaw also
the
ditched the Fast and Furious
no,
title.
the official title of Hobbs and Shaw is Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and
presents.
Shaw. So now it's, by the way, Fast and the Furious? No, 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 no. The franchise is technically called Fast and Furious.
Mhm.
This is
Yes,
Hobbs
true.
and Shaw is like X-Men Origins Wolverine, which, by the way, was an attempt at an X-Men franchise interconnected universe thing. There was a script, X-Men Origins Magneto, which they then
Mhm. I remember.
trashed and reworked into what became X-Men First Class. One of the first jobs that I gave myself was I read scripts that I could hobble together from the internet, and then I reviewed them. It was called Sal's Scripts. Brilliant alliteration.
Awesome name. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got a cease and
No
desist from
notes.
Fox because I reviewed X-Men Origins Magneto, and they were like, "Yeah, well, we appreciate the insight, but knock that crap off."
Wow.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying it was terrible.
yeah, it was no, it was cool. It was solid.
Yeah, they just didn't wanna, like, leaked or talked about, I guess.
No, they didn't want anything leaked or talked about. Yeah, yeah, but the thing that I was thinking of, and I remember finding out that movies deign to do this because comic books have had an interconnected universe for 80 years. Like, it's been forever that we've seen that, like, the interconnected universe, a shared universe, is a viable concept. But it's, and Ben, I think you know where I'm going with this, is Kevin Smith's View Askewniverse, where it's like, when I found out, because I remember I saw Clerks on an old pirated VHS tape freshman year of high school, but like I remember seeing tapes of Chasing Amy and just that cover. You don't even see Ben Affleck, you see Joey Lauren Adams just hugging some production assistant's back, and it just looked like it looked like every single rom-com of the 90s. And I'm like, oh my god, can you imagine being like a tweener and just throwing on Chasing Amy, think you're gonna watch like, I don't know, Can't Hardly Wait, and it's like that's not gonna be your experience. But I remember seeing, I think, Mallrats on TV, and like Jay and Silent Bob were in. I'm like, what's happening? And then finding out, like,
this is a whole different world.
I was not explicitly told that this was in the same universe.
Yes, and then someone told me, they're like, oh yeah, no, Jay and Bob are in all these movies. And I'm like, all these movies? Are you telling me that this is like some kind of a comic book thing? Because I am in, and I just glommed onto that and like learned everything I could. And there's all these different like not so subtle references to each other and their universe. And it's like, but and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was like the end game of being a Kevin Smith fan, where they're like, every single joke, reference, callback is just shoved into this movie and made for you. And
quite a few of them in the first 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, big time. Well, the first 10 minutes are brilliant about Jay and Bob Strike Back, because they were like, we're going to go through the quadrilogy right now. Like, we're going to go through Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and then we're not going to talk about Dogma because, whatever. But, and then, again, Dogma is one of the most, like, successful Kevin Smith movies, certainly critically acclaimed, and now it's back. They're doing a whole tour across America because Kevin got the rights back, and it's getting a 4K restoration and all that stuff, so hooray for Dogma, a movie that I saw, a double feature. I watched 2 religious-based fictitious films in the same night.
Oh no!
In the theater, I watched Dogma and
Saved?
No.
Okay.
No, of course not. It was End of Days, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was gonna say the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. I couldn't even remember the friggin' name of it. Where he fights
End of Days. Gabriel Byrne is going to be the devil, and I've got to fight him and jump on his sword, and I die. It's sad. Spoilers for End of Days. But yeah, I saw, and by the way, I did the right call. I saw End of Days, and then I saw Dogma. So,
oh my god, you know what would have been better? Dogma and Constantine.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That would have been great. I would have been like, huzzah! As it stands, I was a big Arnold fan back then. I still am, but I was then too. And I was like, oh man, this isn't even like,
this is not good.
This is not even like Eraser, which was like a guilty pleasure, but it's like, we're on our way out. Okay, I get it.
I think my guilty pleasure Schwarzenegger movie was probably The Sixth Day, because you got twice the Schwarzenegger.
There's someone in my house eating my birthday cake, and it's not me. The Sixth Day is horrible. I also saw that movie in the theater. That movie fails in every conceivable level because Arnold gets to a chopper and he has to save himself in it, and neither of them says get to the chopper. What are we
getting in my chopper?
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Chopper.
They even do it in Alien versus Predator Requiem, which has no place and no business doing anything delightful or pleasant at all. But yeah, shared universes. DC is taking a big swing with Superman and also jamming every single superhero that they know they're not going to make movies out of.
I gotta clarify something.
Yeah, please.
What's the difference between a shared universe and a prequel or sequel?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it has to be part of the same like franchise. Like Thor is a franchise, even though it's part of a larger franchise called Marvel. Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is one franchise, and it has other franchises: Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, etc. And those have their own movie serials, though they do have payoffs within other movies, which is insane and unprecedented.
So how would you define the distinction between something that is in a shared universe versus something that is simply a sequel?
Right. I think it has to do with the name of the movie, the direction of the plot, the protagonist, and
definitely protagonist, yeah,
and a numerical designation.
Maybe some percentage of character overlap.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you know, like 50% of your main characters overlap, then it's like, well, that might be a sequel. You might have a sequel in your hands right there. But
Yeah.
you know, if it's like, well, there's one character who showed up, you know,
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
like
prior
Iron Man
movie, well,
3.
that's the other one.
Exactly. Like a prequel
It's a
to
shared
or
universe. Yeah,
yeah, shared universe.
yeah.
Iron Man 3 is undeniably an Iron Man movie.
Hmm. Right.
Hulk's in it for 2 seconds, and it's unforgivable that there aren't any other Marvel characters in that movie, given the scale of it, but it is still an Iron Man movie. Like, it
Right.
is and
So
and
it's
it
a
takes place
sequel to Iron Man 2 in the shared universe of the MCU.
exactly, but it is
Right.
not a shared universe.
Right. So this is why I would say that Fast and Furious 3 is not a sequel, even though it has a 3 on it, because there are no characters in it from any of the prior movies. So it's like, well, how could it even really be a sequel?
Well, what
Right.
about
It's
the
like,
Bourne one with Jeremy Renner? But that's like a
well,
relaunch,
and
like how
also
Speed
has
2 kind of
all
is.
the other characters are the same, right? Like the characters continue forward that would have,
Yeah,
except for, you know,
except for
the
Matt
main one.
Damon.
So
Yeah,
and it exists in, you know, chronologically with the other ones, right? Like the other
exactly.
ones happened, explicitly happened, not just
Yeah.
like happened in, you know, an after the credits moment where you know, a character appears from the previous movies as happened with Fast and Furious 3.
Right. Or in like those Kingsman movies. You know, there's
Oh
Kingsman 1
god.
and 2, and then there's also that other one that like lost $600 million.
Well, that was a prequel, wasn't it?
Yes.
It
Yes,
was
it
like
was.
the start of the
A
Kingsman.
Kingsman shared universe.
Yeah, but it was a prequel because it was the origin of the organization that the original movies were about,
Well,
right?
yes,
And there's
Kingsman.
character. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, there's Kingsman, but there's also the movie Argyle,
What?
which is
What is that?
technically
Oh, I
Argyle
don't know
came
about
out in
that one.
2024. That was God,
The one with the cat.
the one with the cat and
What?
Sam Rockwell.
I missed that one entirely.
It's a
I
movie
didn't see it, but I did remember the trailer.
yeah, the trailer premise was basically like there's this woman, she's writing secret agent novels. They turn out to actually be real, and it's not that she's magic and making them happen, but rather that she's tapping into some kind of like realism. Like she understands subconsciously that she's actually telling you what's really happening in the secret agent world, and like it's just she has to be protected, and it turns out that it's part of the Kingsman universe. They're calling
Oh,
it a spin-off film. That's a
oh,
spin-off
okay.
and a covert entry in the franchise, I guess,
Yeah, so
because
I'd
it's a
say
reveal that it's
it's in a shared universe then.
yeah, I think
It's
that's a
under the
shared universe.
broad umbrella of shared universe, but it is also a
Exactly.
spin-off, which
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw, I would say, another example of a spin-off that's in
Right.
the shared universe rather than a sequel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but
Because
I
even though
wonder.
technically it's chronological, it doesn't really have to do with the prior plot. It's their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a shared universe versus spin-off is an interesting distinction because you know, we have to understand that spin-offs have been happening forever, and in
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
TV is especially egregious about this. Like, how many shows are technically part of their own universe? Don't even get me started on Detective Munch and how he ruins everything. But
Yeah, and
every
and
but
that's not even, like, explicit necessarily, but, like,
no.
you know, characters have been spun out into, you know, their own,
Oh yeah.
sitcoms since, like, the 50s.
Oh yeah, well, like George Jefferson and everything spinning out from there. The Golden Girls has like a multi-step franchise. Empty Nest is connected to that.
Yeah,
Like
Mary Tyler
that's a
Moore.
like that's a shared effing universe if I ever saw one.
Yeah.
Although it's also directly contradictory. Like I love how in the Seinfeld shared universe, technically Paul Reiser's character from Mad About You rents his apartment to Kramer. But
Mhm.
then later in the show, Mad About You is also a TV show that they watched. It's fictional. And it's like,
Yeah, which also doesn't make any sense because Ursula is Phoebe's sister in Friends
yes,
and, is also a character in Mad About You. So it's like, well,
right.
then is Friends also a TV show in the shared Mad About You universe of
Or is it a
in
real
Seinfeld?
thing that's happening in Seinfeld? Like, I don't know. That's deliberately obtuse. Like they're doing that
Yeah,
to
because they didn't think about it. They were just like, "Oh, well, I want that. I want that. I want
yeah.
That
that."
would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fun. And
Yeah.
I also want to point out that it is entertainment and it should be about having fun. And we're
Mhm.
just having fun playing with this premise. And so, you know, chill out, whoever's freaking out watching this conversation. But
So that's the answer. The answer is no, they're not going to be done, and no, it's not played out because you're just using the success of one thing
to
to promote and hopefully have success in another thing.
Yeah,
yes,
and you'll always want to do that, and it will always work. Like, it won't work every single time, but it will never. There will never
It
be a
better work
point in
every
human
time.
history.
We lose the house.
yes, we lose the studio. 10%
I
of the time, it works every time.
I don't think there'll be an epic in human history where that will not be a strategy that people will pursue to try to boost the popularity of something else, right?
Right.
Whether it works every single time, maybe it won't, but
Yeah.
it will help.
Sure. I could definitely see.
You like Coke? How about Diet Coke? You like Diet Coke? How about Coke Zero?
Oh, odds are
Exactly.
you'll probably like Coke Zero more than Diet Coke. But yes. So yeah, that I mean, that's the other thing is, of course, like what's a spinoff versus a shared universe, but the reality is they're never going to stop. And even if like audiences are tired of it, I'm worried that like executives are going to go, we tried that. They're just going
I
to go
hope
like,
more
oh,
of them do, right? Because what I want is not to try to make something a shared universe just because like shared universes are in right now,
right.
but rather because you have an idea that like works as a shared universe.
Right.
Right.
Or because you can and because it's part of it. Like I remember I was in the theater watching Spider-Man from 2002, and I was with a couple of other nerds, and I remember seeing on the screen, there's that moment where Spider-Man's dangling from his web, and he's trying to save the kids and Mary Jane, and Green Goblin's coming in for another pass to hit Spider-Man, and something blurry and red hits Green Goblin before he reaches Spider-Man. Turns out to be, I think it's like a traffic cone or something, thrown by the citizens of New York who will, cry out in one voice, we're really angry about 9/11. I'm sorry. I mean, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. But for a hot second, everyone in my row was like, Daredevil just showed up.
What?
Because why wouldn't he? And that was red. Like, oh my God. Now, that is
awesome.
asking a lot. And if you were reading a Spider-Man comic, 50-50 shot, 60-40 in your favor that Daredevil might show up.
Yeah, not guaranteed, but plausible.
But in 2002 Spider-Man, 0% chance that was Daredevil. There is no way that Daredevil is ever going to show up. But we were all like, oh my God, because that's the reality. But you didn't know. That's right.
Because it hadn't been established yet, because that was kind of a new thing. Not the
This is where, if you really analyze the scene, maybe you see Ben Affleck in the background with glasses on. He's the one that threw the cone. It's just the cops spoke up.
You could retcon that, I will say. And have we talked about this on the show? The fact that in Spider-Man 2, there is a Punisher, a Tom Jane Punisher lookalike in a crowd shot towards the end of the movie.
No.
And it's not officially Thomas Jane. I heard rumors that it was Thomas Jane's Punisher stunt double, but that it was an implication that Punisher is like Thomas Jane's Punisher was part of the Spider-Man cinematic universe. It's the part where Mary Jane is running to Peter in her wedding dress in the middle of a fountain area.
I like it.
It's like, that's the Punisher. Like, that looks a lot like the Punisher. And he mugs at the camera. You're like, what?
That's fun, but also like, but if you're not gonna do anything with it, I don't like it. Like, if it's like, oh my God, and then Punisher's gonna be in the next movie, then okay, fine. But if it's just like, oh, Punisher's in there and you're never gonna see him again, I'm like,
that's like saying, oh, this character is gonna return in this movie, and they never make it.
Yeah, well, that has a name for it, and it's part of every single X-Men movie up until, I guess, after First Class. It's called an Easter egg, where like a character is using a computer, and here's a million names of characters that we are going to either butcher or never use. And that's all you're going to get. People going, Remy LeBeau is part of William Stryker's plan. Like, is he? No. Will we recast him 3 times? Yes. But,
yeah, or even a character who's just like a normal character, and it's their name. It's the name of the person who becomes a superhero, but they just never do.
There have been 3 Jubilees and 3 Shadowcats. They don't care. The X-Men universe itself is like, woof. Is that's a shared universe, but within itself,
kind of,
X-Men. Like, that's a franchise. They want to be a shared universe, but also it is still technically X-Men. It's not like when the Fantastic Four get involved, then it becomes a shared universe. But thankfully, it never did.
So does it have to include 2 different franchises to be a shared universe? See,
I
in
think
my
so.
mind, it's all a shared universe. Shared
Well, that's true.
universe is any sequel, anything is a shared universe as long as there's any
Mm.
connection, right? They are a shared
Yeah, but we
universe.
already have we have words for those things. You know, if like you take a movie franchise, like if they made, Speed 2 has another character and not Keanu in it, right? I think Keanu's
Mhm.
not in Speed 2.
Yeah, but
I don't
Sandra
remember
Bullock
that.
is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock is. If the guy who replaced Keanu Reeves had his own movie after that, not called Speed, that's a spin-off. That's not a shared
That is a
universe.
spinoff, but it's also a shared universe because he's the
It
same guy
technically
in the
is
same
because
universe because the same events happened in that
yeah,
universe, right?
yes, all those things. Yeah, there's a shared
There's a
continuity.
shared
That's the key word.
continuity, yeah, so that's why I consider shared universe an umbrella term because otherwise it gets real hard to explain what a shared universe is as distinct from these other things,
Yes, that's
right?
true. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then it's like, well,
yeah.
the MCU is a shared universe, except every single movie I could say is either a sequel or a spinoff. So maybe it's not a shared universe. It's just a series of interlinking sequels and spinoffs. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, it is
Except
a
for
shared universe.
Avengers movies. Now, Avengers movies, those are like a
Mhm.
culmination point, which I would also call a crossover movie because
That would be a crossover.
there's an
Yeah.
example I have in my head that I know is not a good example of a shared universe, but it is a funny phenomenon. And it's just these consistently random ideas, and these are the crossover movies, like when they were going to do a Die Hard 24 crossover titled brilliant Die Hard 24/7, where Jack Bauer meets John McClane. Crossover movie, not a shared universe. Technically does make Die Hard part of the 24 universe, not the same thing. Again, also never happened. Freddy
But that's
versus Jason.
problematic
Yeah.
because then you
Yeah.
can have things that contradict. That's the same thing with Seinfeld and
Mad About You.
Mad About
Yeah.
You.
Mhm.
You can have things that contradict that don't make sense. And that I think is the difference between a crossover and a shared universe. A
Yeah.
crossover, you can have two entirely different histories, two entirely different backgrounds, and somehow they meet in the middle, and we're not entirely sure how. Or maybe we do know. But a shared universe is all the history is the same and happened, and you have to make sense of that. You have to parse it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, what
but
about
maybe there's 2 types of crossovers, a crossover in a shared universe and a crossover not in a shared universe.
that's right, that's right. What about the Freddy versus Jason of it all, where pre Freddy versus Jason the movie, which I never saw, but I know is much maligned. People hate that movie, and I'm like, how could you possibly? Like, it's as
If
different
you're
from
watching it,
anything
you
else you've
love it.
seen. I mean, it's like if you are gonna defend a franchise with Jason X in it, then how could you have much more of a problem with Freddy versus Jason? But
Right.
the Freddy versus Jason of it, I believe one of the Friday the 13th, and when I say I believe, I know, when Jason goes to hell the final Friday, at the end, J- uh, yeah, Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
Freddy's glove grabs Jason's mask. Like, that's a cameo that also links the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street franchises, technically, I think, creating a shared universe.
Well, maybe, or maybe it was just like a reference, and they're
Well,
like,
it is well, I
"No,
mean,
we're
like,
not gonna
look,
do that."
if but they did do it. Like,
But, like, did they do the legwork to establish that the universes are shared in
no,
subsequent movies where they're referencing historical events that happened in one another's movies? So you
not
could
at
be
all.
like, "Oh, okay, this was actually planned and designed as a shared universe,"
Well, does a
versus,
shared
like,
universe have to
they
be
didn't worry
planned, or
about it.
can it be like a crime of opportunity where it's like, oh, all these things, the stars kind of align.
Well,
We get to keep all the
Alien
elements.
versus Predator, like, is Alien versus Predator a shared universe? They don't really you can't really
Yes.
think of, like, how those, like, universes link apart from that movie, but I guess technically it's not ruled out.
Well, no, because
Doesn't really make much sense.
In Predator 2, a Xenomorph skull is on the Predator ship, so it's already established that the
Yeah, but
Xenomorph lives within the universe.
how could the
Okay. Okay.
Predator
I think I got something.
All
So,
right.
what makes a shared universe is references in individual films to the other histories that are also happening at the same time.
Okay.
A crossover is when you try and parse out that shared universe in the crossover itself, saying that both histories have happened.
Mhm.
So when you have Predator 2 and you see the alien skull in the background, even though they've never crossed over before, that's a shared universe because you're saying, yes, the history is there. They're not in the movie, but
Right.
we're saying that the history itself did exactly exist.
Yeah, we're
It was
linking
already part of it.
franchises together. That's a tether that connects the 2
No.
franchises.
See, I
That
feel
doesn't
like there has to be
mean
more effort than that because you can do that. I mean, Is it that because what if that possibility is actually excluded by the history of the universe, right? It wasn't in that case, but there could
Mm.
be, and those things happen. So it's like because they just
You would have
wanted to
to
put that in there.
explicitly come up with a scenario where it does say, "No, that didn't happen." I feel like
Right.
it's easier to argue.
Well, and with Predator slash Alien, the Alien universe or franchise, circa Predator 2's release, which is like 1990, certainly much more involved than the Predator franchise. Like the Predator franchise is an alien shows up on Earth, to our knowledge, twice. Right?
Mhm.
We've only seen the
And there's
Yautja
no
in
apparent link
two
between
scenarios.
them.
No, but
Yeah.
also there's nothing to contradict that there is a
Right.
link between them. And then when we
Sure.
establish that there's a xenomorph skull on the alien in Predator 2, cool, okay. That now we're actually deepening the alien lore because at that point, 1990, we've only gotten 2 alien movies. Alien 3 is on the way, both in the far-flung future. We know that xenomorphs predate the history of Alien established in the future. So it's like, okay, so xenomorphs have been around a while longer than we thought,
Right.
or at
So
the
it's
very least when we've been
technically
shown.
possible.
Yes.
Right.
Then AVP happens, and unfortunately it sucks, which doesn't help
Yeah,
the
and it's like, well, if
universe.
this happened, why does the alien future come to pass the way it does?
Yeah.
Because shouldn't people know
Right.
about xenomorphs
Or Yautja.
or Yautja? Right? Like once you start putting all these things on Earth, I don't
Oh, I
know. It
know.
just
Oh,
it's like I guess it technically could have happened if a lot of like coincidental things occurred where it's just like, well, nobody ever found out, and that's
yeah.
why it
Well,
doesn't
nobody
mess up
fell
your
found
future
out.
brand.
No one ever believed this person. The proof was destroyed. There's plenty
Oh,
of things you
yeah.
can.
Well, there's Predator cleanup folk like Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction. That's actually established in AVP Requiem.
Mhm.
But again, that movie
Yeah,
sucks.
so I
But I
would
do
say
like the
like
idea of a cleanup Predator.
over time, as you add more and more movies that add more and more links, that establishes that like, okay, it's a shared universe. It wasn't like a one-off, like fun
Reference.
visual thing you did.
Yeah.
You actually like did the work to
Right.
make it a shared universe. Like to me, a
And
shared universe comes from a continuous effort to
yeah,
create a shared universe.
we're
It
getting it.
can't
I
be a
mean,
single action.
I'm okay.
So, isn't there also the idea that like one person can put a reference to something in their franchise, and the other
Uh-huh.
person, if they don't want that, can also shoot it down?
Yeah,
There was a Rick and
exactly.
Morty and what else? Rick and Morty and
Oh,
something.
Gravity Falls. Yeah.
Gravity Falls.
Yes,
Exactly.
there's a shared character and references between their franchises. Like Grunkle Stan opens a portal, some things get sucked out. Rick opens a portal, those things fall through it. They're not overt, and they're owned by 2 different rival studios. So technically, they can never cross over. But also, there are references. There's Bill Cipher's in multiple animated projects across multiple studios that
They're all
says that
connected.
they're all connected. Like The Simpsons is
Right?
technically within the
So
multiverse. But then
yeah, so to
once you
me,
establish
that's
the
the alien
multiverse,
skull in Predator, right? It's like, well, that's like one person's decision. Like,
right? But
that's is that
also,
blessed? Did
the
that really happen
the
according to the
thing
people
about
in the other franchise?
for me that the thing is that like if it's owned by the same studio, then it's much more concrete. Fox owned both Alien and
Right.
Predator,
You
so
could
yeah,
imagine how it could become more substantial in the
exactly.
future.
But like when you have Spider-Man and the MCU, those are all more or less crossover movies. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they are technically firmly established, but I also know that nothing Spider-Man does can ever
Yeah, but
be that
Spider-Man's in
important.
Avengers. I mean, once
Right,
he's
he
in
is an Avenger.
Avengers, it's like, well, they have to be a shared universe.
It's true. No, it is. It is. It is. But yeah, it's just funny the crossover of it all and how like oh my god. And I'm sad to say that we never got that Freddy versus Jason versus Ash movie, linking the Army of Darkness into it all.
Yeah. Oh
What a
no.
shame. I would have loved that. Are you kidding me? That would have been amazing.
I could not care less about Freddy Krueger or
Jason Voorhees
Jason
fighting Ashley
Voorhees.
Williams.
No. I couldn't care about them
Well,
doing anything. The
well,
fact they're fighting Ash, like, that's makes it a little more interesting, but, like, I would also just want another movie with Ash, so, like, I don't really care about like, it
you know
doesn't
what?
add anything to add those
No,
characters to me.
The trouble is that even the TV series wasn't great.
it's a
Yeah, I didn't
shame.
watch it.
It was okay, but it was easy to quit. I
Mm.
quit that show pretty quickly. I would very much
Yeah, you
like.
want that?
I would rather have Ash versus Hellraiser because I think Pinhead is so stupid, and I like the
Good
idea of
idea.
linking the puzzle box to the Deadites, or the Deadites being like, "Ew, a puzzle box." That's probably has like spooge on it, Like, don't touch.
Yeah, the Cenobites take themselves a little too seriously.
They're so lame, and it's just so hedonistic. I'm just like, okay, all right, Pinhead. You know what? That's an apt name for you. What is the coolest movie weapon that isn't a lightsaber? God, I'm throwing out the lightsaber.
Okay.
We all know the lightsaber is the coolest. We had a discussion off mic a couple weeks ago where it was like, would you rather? Because I've heard people say this before. Would you rather have a lightsaber or the Millennium Falcon? And I'm like, that is an interesting question because they both carry their own monkey's paw issues.
Yeah, like the correct answer is neither because it is going to ruin your life. But
yeah, I am going to cut off an arm, or I'm going to be lost in space, or I'll never get the damn Millennium Falcon off the ground.
My favorite explanation of the or depiction of the lightsaber being a problem is Rick and Morty when it just like falls and just like keeps going because it can cut through anything. So why would stop it from like just traveling to the center of the earth? Like,
yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. I mean, even the fact that it's like, well, I don't have the Force, so I can't like will it to not cut off an arm when I'm flipping around.
Well, yeah, you'd never be able to. You have to be like so careful with it.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be fun.
No. I mean, the only people who would ever want a lightsaber in real life are criminals. It's like, I need something that can cut through anything. And
I'm not afraid to risk life.
Not only can it cut through anything, but like it's immediately deadly.
Yeah, there's no other practical
purpose. It's only deadly
at
a certain range.
Yes.
Right.
Like, guess what? If I'm 5 feet away, fuck you.
Right.
Yeah, and you can't even block like bullets with it because you're not that fast. So yeah, it's actually fairly useless as a weapon.
Yeah. But what is the coolest movie weapon? Like, what, or in your estimation, in your experience, having watched many movies, what is one of the like top coolest movie weapons? Because there's so many to choose from. I'm gonna name a few, just kind of get the juices flowing here.
I need to.
You know, like because people talk about like a Hattori Hanzo sword from the Kill Bill franchise.
Okay, yeah,
is cool.
Sure.
I think of Hans Blaster. People talk about Ash's chainsaw, the noisy cricket, the Blade Runner gun.
The Blade Runner gun is just a gun.
It looks cool, but it looks cool. It's a different kind of but it's
space gun.
I don't think it ever leaves terra firma, but it is still a cool gun. But it's a different kind of gun. Like I can put it on display. Like I don't know how many times I've mentioned this on different podcasts, but I had a dream once where I was going to have an armory on my wall of guns from movie franchises. And it was going to be like all these cool different replicas. Ben made me a Han Solo blaster. I had Mal's pistol. I had a Star Trek phaser from the 2009 franchise, but still. And then I just stopped because getting those things was impossible and expensive. You know, like the pulse rifle from Aliens, like that would be great.
Are we limiting this to like personal weapons, like that you can hold?
Yeah, I think no. As opposed to what, like a TIE fighter,
right? Anything? I don't know.
Yeah,
like
I think
Death
just
Star super laser.
Like a weapon, but I think a weapon should be its primary function.
Yeah, it needs to be something that you can display, like that you can hold or wield. You know, like Cap's shield, or I don't know, like the disc from Tron Legacy.
What about a mech?
Oh, I'll take a mech. I mean, the power loader from Aliens is hard.
Right,
to beat.
It's not even a weapon, but like it's also
it can be one.
Could be, yeah.
But that's just it. It's used as a weapon, but it's not its primary function. That's why I think the power loader should not be included.
Dissenting opinion.
Right, like Iron Man's armor is that? I mean, that's
right.
More or less he is the power loader.
He's got the repulsors in his hands. He can shoot stuff. He's got rockets that come out of the shoulders. Can I claim the whole armor as a weapon?
Right.
Then that
definitely,
one, because that's like 8 weapons, or I don't even know how many weapons.
Yeah, what happens if I take the powers of the kid from Super 8 and I just, use things with my mind? Is that a weapon?
No, because I can't make a prop
what about
out of
Wolverine.
Claws,
like a human weapon.
Well, like, are the claws a weapon? Can I wield those?
No, I want Wolverine itself as the weapon.
Yeah, he's Weapon X. Weapon X is what he is. He's a weapon.
He literally is. Yeah, but then
Wolverine.
Human ownership.
Well, I pick Wolverine. I'm done.
Personal weapons.
like Mjolnir or the One Ring.
Something that can be wielded by a single person, and it's a single weapon. It can't be like 5 weapons in one.
And it needs to be kind of iconic. It has to be identifiable, like Glamdring or the Deathly Hallows wand. I don't know. I mean,
there you go.
Yeah. Why not? A wand could be a weapon.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking handheld.
Yeah.
Weapon. Okay.
Right.
So I'm a little torn between two.
Okay.
My first, oh God, I want to say it's the ZX-1 from Fifth Element.
I knew you were going to say the Fifth Element weapon, and I'm so glad you did, because that gun is so ridiculous, and it is endlessly, it is so distinct iconic, and fun. Yeah. Yes, the Zorg ZF-1 pod weapon.
ZF-1, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Backup is going to be the giant machine gun that
the Jesse Ventura wields in Predator?
No, not the minigun.
Oh, okay.
That's just a minigun. I'm talking about the Alien 2 giant chest-mounted gun.
Oh God, yes, that Vasquez
works.
Yeah.
Vasquez in
oh man.
That starts with a B or a D.
Yeah.
Regardless. That one. I love that thing. I've always wanted to make a replica of that because it requires the camera harness to use and walk around with. I want to do that one year for Comic-Con. I want to cosplay as fucking Vasquez.
Well, that's going to be tough.
Hey, I can gender bend it. I can be a male Vasquez.
That's true. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Blake?
So
his name?
I'll get it. I'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
Drake.
Thank you. It is Drake. You're absolutely right.
There you go.
Ethan?
Drake. I mean, there's so many to choose, but or to pick from, but I gotta give it to the gas-powered stake thrower from Van Helsing.
You phony.
How dare you? Troll.
Wow. I mean,
it's just so awesome, right?
It's a marvel of engineering. How could they manage to do that without any influence or inspiration? I mean, they just made that out of whole cloth.
What? An automatic firing stake shooting gun?
Right?
That's not even possible.
In 1889? How would they do that?
No, but you want like a serious answer. I mean, I think Cap Shield is pretty cool.
I agree.
I gotta say.
Is it a weapon?
Yeah, because he throws it at people.
He might throw it, but it's more armor.
It's
granted. I think it falls within the category.
Yeah.
I think he uses it as a weapon enough. It's not just like a shield that like you bash someone with. He like flings it and bounces it off like multiple guys many times. So if I can't count that though, I don't know, some kind of sword. Definitely
Conan had a great sword. Any of the swords from Lord of the Rings would be great.
Yeah, like Narsil is cool.
Are we allowed to use video games? Because the energy sword from Halo.
The energy sword from Halo is
technically movie weapons. Video game weapons are a completely different animal.
So
then it's like,
movies.
A plasma rifle from Doom. Any weapon from Doom. But
like the BFG.
The BFG. Which I don't even know what it looks like because I've only seen it from like this angle.
Yeah.
And then I've seen it in 3 dimensions and I'm like, that's not what it looks like.
No.
I was gonna say the hand cannon that Vash the Stampede uses in Trigun.
No, that's anime. But anime weapons, again, like that's another complete beast. We'd have to well, let us know in the comments.
Do you remember Blade 2?
Yes.
I do. All the vampire hunters? There was a guy that had a giant axe and he turned it and a spike came out the back.
Yeah.
I loved that thing.
That was cool. There were some cool weapons to Blade too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ben, didn't you have Blade's sword at one point?
Yes, I did.
And it had the defensive part, like it had like things that could pop out.
So no, it didn't have that. So remember how his is double bladed?
Yes.
I had a single bladed version of it. It was like more like a katana, but it was the same style. And I liked that one more than the double-edged version, but it was like,
Mhm.
it's one of those cheap movie knockoff things. It was like $80. It was made
Oh, I
from like
know.
stainless steel.
Yeah, I played with it every time I came over. It was something that but your size were also pretty great. I
Yes.
loved those size.
Oh,
Like, oh, you
right
mean
there. Okay.
Different. I got
these?
this.
Oh my god. What is that? Just a
It's just
katana?
a sword.
It's
Yeah.
just
It's
a
a little
sword.
small. Yeah, no. I thought it was like one of those little swords, but it's a
No, that's a
regular sword.
full-on
That's a
sword.
full ass
Wakazashi?
sword.
No, this is a practice sword that one of my cousins got me.
Nice. Nice. That's great.
That is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna get flagged now. Brandishing
She sewed a
weapons.
sword.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dangerous. Encouraging people to buy dangerous weapons.
I just have like
Impressionable
so
young
much
audience.
crap on my floor too. Remember
Hey,
the
just some
practice swords that we had?
Of course, yes. I never
Oh, yeah.
had that sword. Those are great. I have the kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember vividly. One of the first New York Comic Cons was when I bought, because Ben had a kendo stick. We actually have it here in the office, like Ben's kendo stick and my kendo stick, which is like, I think it's like 10 years removed from yours. So it's just like you can see like how they'll weather over time. But
I got mine when I was 17 and still doing martial arts.
nice. Yeah, I got mine 10 years later. And let me tell you, I remember getting that kendo stick, and I think our mutual friend got one too at New York Comic Con. And we went over to an area where no one was. And I'm like, well, we're at Comic Con, let's celebrate. And so like we got into a little sword fight, and it was like clash, security came.
Nope.
Yep.
It was just like tink, tink, no. Hey, get out of here. It's like, oh my God.
Here's
That
the
was
funny part.
fast.
You could do that now as long as someone's recording you.
Right. Oh, that's a show. Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, they're doing stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like prostitution, where it's like, oh, you're being filmed? Oh, no, that's pornography. That's okay.
Totally okay.
It's totally okay. Yeah. I mean, like, there's also a couple other references. Like, is a Terminator a weapon? Can I take the T-800?
Yeah, if you program him yourself.
Yeah, it's mine. That's a weapon. That's a weapon. That's like the power loader, I think. But it's also a character. I guess a T-800 would be a weapon, but I'm
Yeah,
still
it
not gonna
can't
count
also be a character. If it can also be described as a character, you can't count it.
that. Right, exactly. Oh, fair. Okay.
Okay, what if my sword is cursed and has a voice and talks to me? Does that make it a character? Can I no longer use it?
Does he have a personality or a name?
Yeah, blood
Do I
drinker or
hear it in
something?
the movie? Or does it only speak silently to the character and we don't ever hear it?
No, you hear it.
I don't know. That doesn't count.
That's borderline.
Yeah, it is borderline. Anyway, my answer is obviously the proton pack.
Nerd.
Yep, I have
Interesting.
one.
It's not meant as a weapon, though. It's more
It's
of
a
a
weapon
containment
against
device.
ghosts. If I shoot you,
It is a weapon, though.
you are dead.
Yeah.
Okay, my car is a weapon if I hit you hard enough.
That's right, and the law will say that very clearly, that you used it as a weapon.
It's a weapon against ghosts. It's
That's
like a
what I'm saying.
non-lethal weapon against ghosts, but it is a weapon.
Yeah,
Is a lasso a weapon?
I think Indiana Jones's whip is a weapon. Oh yeah, the lasso of truth is a weapon.
That's a lasso of truth. I'm talking about a cowboy lasso.
If
Yeah,
you
if
use
you-
it to tie up someone who's trying to get away from you, then yes. If you use it on cattle, no.
I mean, it's a weapon against cattle, but it's also
It's
like
an
it's
animal
more of a
husbandry
rustling-
tool.
Yeah, and also not relevant to the conversation unless you're talking about Biff Tannen's lasso in Back to the Future 3 or something. Linking it back to the conversation at hand, sir.
There are
Back to the Future
lassos
3,
in
which we
movies.
have to
Thank
do
you
every
very
episode.
much. Look
All
at
right,
Wild
what's your
Bill.
favorite
Look at...
film Lasso?
Time's up.
No,
I'll have to
you don't
think
have to
about
think of all
that.
of them. Just your favorite.
How about one? How about one that's in your top 3?
That isn't Biff Tannen, or that isn't Wild Biff or Mad Dog Tannen's lasso.
Fairly, there's one used in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I think.
Oh my god.
You think?
I think.
Okay, so iconic, so cool.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I thought of something.
No, you named something. I think one is being used technically in a movie about a Western. Yes. Well done.
No, I'm thinking about something where it's like
Pretty
someone
safe
rides someone
bet.
down and lassos them. I just can't remember what it was.
So,
Oh,
I don't
it's freaking City Slickers.
know. That's fair. All right, yeah, you can have that one.
Okay, Ben's answer is the City Slickers
There's
lasso.
lasso.
That's coolest movie weapon.
Yeah, great.
It's the lasso.
I can do so many things with it, though. I can tie down my tent.
Well, it is a rope,
so
so it is versatile. You got lots of options.
Oh, how about Sam's rope from Lord of the Rings? That's my favorite.
That he does use it as a weapon against
Good
Gollum.
rope.
So
now, what's your favorite rope?
It's true.
Oh man, my favorite rope has to be the Boondock Saints rope that they use to
Oh,
rappel
good
down in
one.
the big
Yeah.
fight.
I love the rope that was used in Renaissance Man, where Danny DeVito's going down the wall because he got up and climbed the tower, and there's only one way down.
I never saw Renaissance Man.
Crickets? Really?
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh man, you guys gotta watch Renaissance Man. It's amazing.
I'm sure.
Danny DeVito teaches Shakespeare to army recruits.
Yeah, it sounds
He
really
teaches
familiar.
English essentially, but he's teaching them so that they can pass and actually like graduate out of the army.
Right.
It's heartwarming. It's good.
It does look pretty good.
Are they officers? I'm trying to think why they would need to. even
I
do-
don't believe so. I'm fairly certain they're just grunts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, People Magazine did say it has solid laughs, so I can't argue with that.
Solid laughs. That's what I'm looking for in my comedy. Solid laughs.
I want some solid laughs. I mean, that's
What's our
no
Rotten Tomatoes
guarantees.
score? I want to know that.
What the Renaissance Man? Rotten Tomatoes. All right.
Does it count? They weren't
If it's
doing
not
it.
above 70, I'd be
Oh,
surprised.
they aggregate everything, so yeah. Renaissance Man technically has 12%.
Oh,
the
what have I
audience score-
done?
The audience score is 53.
Oh,
Rose-tinted glasses, I
That's
guess. Shit.
better.
Peter Rayner of the LA Times
Now-
says there's a fine line between delighting an audience and pandering to it. Renaissance Man leapfrogs across the line. Kim Newman of the Empire Magazine says this is a feel-good movie which is too mechanically put together to make you feel anything.
Oh, that's too bad.
And the rest of them aren't pull quotes because it's old.
Oh
Whoops.
my god.
Hey,
Well, still, you guys
Ben
should
was
watch it.
so sure that
no one's gonna challenge Ben. It's not like they've seen it. Like that'd be like me saying, like, I love Major Payne, you know? I didn't, by the way. I hated Major Payne. But they did film Major Payne on my college campus.
Oh well.
For one scene, and it's at the train station, so it's nothing. That was the one thing I remember asking, like, is there any distinction for this campus? And they were like, we shot one scene in Major Payne here. And I was like, the Wayans movie about the army? And they were like, the very same. And I'm like,
Yes.
I think I made a horrible mistake.
What's the military movie where it's the con artist going back in trying to get the recruits to do well, and it's all smoke and mirrors?
What?
I don't know.
Con artist trying to do what? What's the con? How does he
So-
profit from this?
He's
That's
in the
what I said.
military.
Yeah.
He gets assigned to a company. I don't want to say it's a mechanics company. And like there's supposed to be this hovercraft that both hovers and fires, but
Is
it
this
doesn't
stealth?
work.
Are you talking about stealth?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not. Keep going, Ben.
But the trouble is that in order to like pass or to stay in the military or get funding, they have to like prove that it works, but it doesn't. What they can do is they can make it hover, but it can't fire. So they like fire a flamethrower out of the cannon and they hit these targets with like remote explosives and they're going off. And then someone like fires one but hits the wrong explosive and it like explodes like 90 degrees to the right. And
Ben,
everyone's like,
you're-
whoa, that's weird.
You're talking about Sergeant Bilco from 1996.
Yes, I am.
Stars Steve Martin.
I've never heard of this.
I remember Sergeant Bilco, but I never saw Sergeant.
Look,
Bilko.
I've seen a lot of movies because of my family.
Yeah, look, there's actually a
We're renting
phenomenon
this.
there's a phenomenon like that's perpetrating social media right now that is people our age who have a deep love of a totally banal or forgettable movie because we owned it on VHS as children. Like, because our family bought one.
Mm-hmm.
We have a
That's
mutual
why I
friend
love
who was-
Legend.
Legend at least has cool shit in it. I don't know how I can defend Sergeant Bilko.
You can't. Although Steve Martin,
Yeah, but yeah.
He was not in. Not everything was great.
Yeah.
not everything
My
was
cousin
great, but
Vinny.
he was good in that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're not all
My
gonna be
cousin Vinny is
winners.
No, I'm thinking of My Blue Heaven is what I was thinking of.
Don't even know
Oh,
what that
yeah.
is.
I had a 2-pack. It was My Blue Heaven and something else on the other side. I think it was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That makes sense. I mean, it's, Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
That's a good movie.
Ugh. I saw, I Never Shot the Kids. Holds up.
Yeah, but Honey, I
one.
Blew Up the Baby does not.
That movie sucks.
Shockingly.
All
I
right.
saw that in theaters, and I was mad. I was like,
Fair.
that may have begun my hatred of children characters in movies, where I was like, this kid's gotta go. Like, I am not here for this. You
I'm
imagine?
rooting for the bad guy, or the bad guy was in that movie.
Please actually blow up the baby.
Yeah, this movie failed in its initial premise. It said it blew up the baby or kid, but like, ugh. You kidding me? Especially with like all the fun. You got teenagers running around in the woods trying to bang each other and save ants and stuff. And like, Matt Frewer's in it, being hilarious as usual. Trying to play like some military like alpha male dude. It's like, you're Matt Frewer, dude. You're Max Headroom. You're not fooling anybody. Your projection is on full ass display where he's like, yeah, Russell, you're gonna lift weights. You're gonna be buff. Oh yeah, Dad. Or, you know what? Let's bench right now. You and me. We'll see who can lift more. I guarantee you, I can bench more than you.
You want to know why?
kidding me?
Because I'm not a string bean like you are.
I mean, like, come on. That being said, but Matt Frewer owns it because he's great. He's a brilliant actor. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about anything that we just talked about.
No.
Why don't we go to another question?
Do we ever finalize the weapons?
No, we didn't. We never actually finalized the weapons. Oh yeah, we did. Yours is the lasso from Buster Scrubs. Do you have?
Oh, from
no,
City Slickers.
it's the ZF one.
It's
right?
a
Like,
ZF1.
it's the ZF one.
He's got the ZF one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll
mine's
go
the
Cap
Gunpowder.
Shield.
No, you know what? No, I'm going the alien giant mounted machine gun.
The big
Oh,
gun.
okay.
Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah,
settled,
that's iconic in my mind.
Yeah.
And they use motorcycle parts for it.
Do they really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
They call it the Vasquez's smart gun. It's the M56 smart gun.
Yep. M56 smart gun.
There you go.
Yeah, so the handles that they hold on to are motorcycle handles. You can actually see when she squeezes the trigger, it's just the brake handle on a
that's
motorcycle.
awesome.
The switch that she flips on is the engage engine switch. On the front of it, because I want to say it was the M42 German machine gun is what they based it off of from World War II.
Okay.
The foot pegs or the brackets that mount onto one of the motorcycles, I think it was a Yamaha, are the case coverings for the barrel. So like the angles that have like a little triangular cross inside were braces off a motorcycle too. It was just the
Nice.
props department just started throwing shit together.
Yeah, well, that's Jim Cameron for you. Like, he's just like, whatever, just raid the junkyard and make something out of it. You got like $18 in 6 minutes. Like, go for it. That's
And yes,
awesome.
I've looked up how to make one because I want to make one.
I don't blame you. I definitely would love to see that. I'm sure it's heavy as F. There's no way. Those two are just like whoop whoop. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why you need the
The
chest
harness.
pack,
Yeah.
the harness,
Yeah.
the camera stabilizer or the camera, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, it's a gimbal. Yeah.
Gimbal.
Ethan, yours is Cap Shield.
No, mine's the repeater crossbow from Van Helsing. Yeah, it's Cap Shield.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fair. Either one, really.
And proton pack.
It's really hard to
Proton
choose.
pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Follow-up question, since this is going well, is
Who would win in a fight? I guess
God.
Ethan.
yeah, follow-up question. If all three of you had to fight each other,
with those weapons.
with those weapons.
I think the proton pack wins.
Yeah, I'm vaporizing both of you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like, what can he block it with the shield?
Vibranium. You know,
It's vibranium. It's never been tested like that.
I can't throw it like him, so it's cool when he uses it. The question was not which would you be most effective with.
No, which would you wield with expertise?
I would just be like, just cowering behind it. I wouldn't be able to beat
using
anybody.
it to get to the door.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just it. I feel like that would work. Who knows?
Until someone aimed for my
Sal's
legs
aim
and
is
then
or mine.
Oh no, that thing it's a particle accelerator. I'd be blasted across the room. But anyway, no.
Yeah,
my actual
would be
question.
way too heavy for me to actually hold up and be like, "Oh, I'm coming."
Is there a prop out there from a movie that if you got to see it or hold it, you'd be like moved? You'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening." Like I've seen so many like tested videos with Adam Savage where he's like, "Oh man, I got to touch like an original X-wing or all this stuff," and I'm like, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But is there something that you like it could be like Tim Curry's horns from the Devil Suit from Legend? Like, you can pick that too if you like.
if you want to be stupid,
So
No,
it doesn't
no.
exist because it's a cartoon.
Oh my God,
But
damn it.
well,
if I got to
then-
hold Mrs. Brisby's necklace from The Secret of Nim,
That's
I'm
fair.
sorry, the Orin from The Neverending Story.
There we
The
go.
actual Orin.
Dude, I've always wanted to touch the Orin. I don't know why. It's got a great texture. It catches the light really well. Just
Yeah.
the book itself. The book would be man. Yeah, there was a period where if someone showed me the book, I would have just died. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, the Orin. No, that's fair. Mm-hmm. The first one, not when they tried to remake it.
Not the
That was
second
awful.
one.
I was
That one
like,
sucked.
No, that's garbage.
And
Yeah,
oddly
mine would
enough,
be-
both necklaces that I was thinking of.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
true.
I like bling.
And yet, blingless. Yeah, that's hardly bling. That's plug. It's not even metal.
Wow. Getting shade. Getting judged.
Yeah. Well, I got my Prince Albert in. I don't know about you.
prove it.
No, no.
I'm not
He's got
getting
Prince Albert in
Don't
the
do
can.
it. Prove it.
What was the question?
Is there a prop that if you got to
Oh,
see
right.
it or hold it, it would actually like it would be like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
Right. Well, if we're doing cartoons, I'm going to go with Timon from The Lion King
Just holding Timon.
because he's so
I just-
adorable.
He's just so great. Now that's just you want to meet Timon, and if that's the case, it's like, oh, we
You
just
can meet
introduce you.
Timon at Disney.
Well, or we could introduce you to whatever his name is,
You mean the
Nathan
actor?
Lane. Yeah,
Is it Nathan Lane? Yeah.
yeah, you're just a fan of Nathan Lane.
There we go. There we go. But if you want a real answer, prop. Like, is it something I have to hold, or could it be like a place I go?
I think a prop, because a place you could go, it's like, man, yeah, we're all going to New Zealand and just going to Hobbiton.
Yeah, no, that's the Hobbiton.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, prop.
No, I'm going to Helm's Deep. I want to see actual Helm's Deep.
It's
Oh,
not
Don't tell me
there,
it's
man.
It's a set.
it's gonna
It's
gonna be
real.
tough.
There's
It is a
nothing
there.
there.
There was, I mean, like they built
Well,
something.
they built some sets and stuff,
They
but
took it down.
there was nothing that actually looked like Helm's Deep if you were physically there from a distance.
Then how did they show Helm's Deep a second time in that animated movie?
Well,
Yeah, you got me there, Ben.
They have reference somewhere. Anyway,
at, New York, at San Diego Comic-Con, there's a dude who
you just cut my video out.
just no, it's going in somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be a members video or what. I don't know, but it's happening. Yeah,
So not Timon.
Not Timon.
not Timon.
I mean, maybe Luke's lightsaber from New Hope, but I feel like I've seen it up close and it looks really crappy.
Well, it's just a light. Like
It was used.
Oh yeah, I mean just the handle part, but like, it's like
no,
glued
I mean
together,
like
but-
it's made of like a light like kit.
Oh, it is a light. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
no,
also
I mean,
wouldn't
but that'd
be-
be cool. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, it would be
something.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
as it stands, like I've at San Diego Comic-Con, there was a person who has like Muppet Puppet, like who has like I've had Rizzo sit on my shoulder and stuff, and I'm like, is pretty freaking amazing.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Like, oh, when we went to the Museum for the Moving Image, like they have all those Henson puppets, and it's just like I freaked out when Mew from A Christmas Toy was in the corner, and like, you know, all the beautiful puppets, the magical world they came from, and all.
Jesus Christ.
And the
That was.
Skeksis.
Yeah, the sky. I don't really care about the Dark Crystal. I'm sorry, but I know that means something to somebody. Like, you know, the Goblin King's outfits there too. It's a really cool place. Which I remember I made like I made like a social media post about like going to the Museum for the Moving Image like years ago, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, pre-COVID, and no engagement. And the museum was like, "Thank you for posting that." I saw 7 of those videos in the last like year. Like high-profile TikTokers being like, "I'm at the," and it's the same 6 shots. Because it's a small Jim Henson exhibit, but it is worth going. But it was just like, it was interesting to see, like, eventually people found out about it and called. Similarly, when it comes to like going someplace, I would like to go to Sesame Street.
Okay.
Like the set?
Yeah.
No, just a street that says Sesame on it.
I mean, there are many of those. You can.
I know.
You can do
No,
that right now.
I want to be on the set of Sesame Street. Like,
okay.
I would like to.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would like to walk it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would want to be on the set of the Promenade from Deep Space Nine. Of course, it doesn't exist anymore. So unlike your Sesame Street one, I can't actually ever do it. But yeah, that'd be cool. Really cool. Yeah.
Well, then there you go. Like, I bet like a piece of it or something.
Sal's prop is obviously once again the proton pack.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, it would be cool to touch it or see it. I'd be moved, but like I've been so exposed to so much Ghost. But like I was just at Hook and Ladder 8 the other day. Like I got to see and touch the building, and I've seen so many Ecto ones at this point. Like I'm not over it, but I'm like it's I've been moved. I've had
it already happened. Yeah.
It's happened. I've had that experience, which is wonderful. Any Star Wars prop. I mean, like if I could, you know, see like an original Star Destroyer or like a piece of the, you know, X-Wings or, you know.
I was thinking Yoda when you said
Yoda
Muppets, and I was like, oh, Muppets, the Yoda.
I was thinking of Kermit. Muppet thing. Both green.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, Kermit is at the museum. Like you can see him there. Yoda, not so much. I think because he is completely fallen apart.
He's probably
like,
all fucked up. Yeah.
There's no Yoda. There's nothing.
There is no Yoda.
Because if there was, they should have 3D printed him so you could actually accurately portray Yoda in any other movie besides Empire and Jedi. Because for whatever reason, they can't do it. And I don't understand it. They're like, we made one for Last Jedi. And I'm like, it looks weird. He still doesn't look right.
He is closer.
He's closer than
what they did
than that cartoon.
Ethan, do you want
they made a puppet for prequels and it's horrible.
Oh, it's awful.
Then they made him a cartoon, and that was more accurate, but also crappy.
But still,
Ethan, do you want to sit on the Game of Thrones throne?
I mean, that would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't think it would like take
moved. You wouldn't be
breath.
like,
yeah, I wouldn't be moved. I wouldn't be moved like if I held Yoda. I think I'd be moved if I held
that's
Yoda.
What I'm saying.
He was still intact.
That's the experience I'm looking for here.
Yeah,
I don't understand. How could you hold something on CG?
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I also would be pretty impressed. I don't know if I'd be moved, but I might be to hold the piece of the Mega Crag from Guts.
From Guts.
The Astro Crag. They were both. I think it was
Crag.
the Aggro Crag. Yeah, it was the Aggro Crag and then the Mega Crag, but I think it looked the same either way. But
now, do you mean like the thing that they gave you, or like
the thing they got to hold on the show, the one from the show? Yeah, the big one.
Now, I don't want to dispel any preconceived ideas here, but the one that they had on the show that they hold,
yeah, you don't get to keep that.
No one goes home with that. You get a miniature version of it.
Yeah, you get a piece of it. That is it. This thing that looks like that but smaller.
Yeah,
you get a piece of the not this piece, piece.
A piece of the Aggro Crag. It's just a replica of the thing that's there, but a little smaller. And it's
smaller,
like, yeah. Which I'd still, I mean, like, if I competed on Guts and I got that, I would never let that go. I'd have that. I'd get rid of my college diploma before I got rid of it.
I got the Aggro Crag.
I won
300 of these in the world.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually rarer to get that. It's the one thing they're not making any more of.
Unless Lex has something to say.
That's right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Another great episode of No Comic Required, and we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you want to submit your own question, join us at patreon.com/comicpop. I occasionally make a thread where I'm like, oh no, we're recording an episode. Put a question. Then we get a few. So I'm excited to see that. Yeah, just submit it. I'll solicit it, I promise. And we'll see you guys next time with another episode of No Comic Required. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
Hudson.
Bye-bye.